Hi, everybody. We're just going to give it a minute or two, just as people are joining us. This session is about what and who the Family Reception Center is in the OCDSB. So welcome. We're just going to give it another 10 seconds to see if other people are going to join. All right. So welcome and thanks so much for taking time tonight to join. This session is about what and who is the Family Reception Center within the OCDSB. And the picture here shows one of our front doors, welcoming families that are new to Canada, looking to get transitioned into the OCDSB education system, and for families whose primary language is not English. And if you could do me a favor, oh, I don't seem to be able to, there we go. If you don't mind in the chat, if you can just put a little bit about who you are, and then I can tweak the presentation. So if you're a teacher, a parent, a student, a sponsor, anybody like that, if you just write in the chat who you are, and then I can tweak the presentation. Okay. So Wakar, we don't have anybody but you and I in the presentation right now. So do I still keep going?
I believe we got one back.
Oh, we do have one. All right. Hi. So yeah, if you can just put in the chat a little bit, if you're a teacher, a student, a parent, a sponsor, and then I can tweak the presentation, but then I'll need to get going. All right. Okay. So the Family Reception Center, not all boards in Ontario have a center that is dedicated to welcoming new families, newcomer families into their board, but the OCDSB does have one. We are a small staff. We have a principal, we have two amazing office staff. We have what are called MLOs, or multicultural liaison officers, that help with settlement. And I'll talk a little bit about them later. And we have our assessors, and I'll talk a little bit more of that. And then myself, Rose, who is a guidance student success, and I help with any questions there might be around educational pathway. These are our office staff. They speak a couple of different languages. They're amazing. All families have unique situations coming into Ontario, coming into Ottawa, and we work very well as a team to try and make sure that we can answer all your questions and get you going in the right direction. Who do we support? Well, the Family Reception Center, it supports all newcomer families, as I said before, whose primary language is not in English, or their child's instruction and education was not primarily English. So we work with permanent residents, children of diplomats, children of parents who have a work or study visa, students whose first language or dominant language is not English. We can have students that were in our system but have been then gone from our system for more than a year returning. So what we do here at the Family Reception Center is we look to do assessments. We do assessments in English and in math. And we help with all that information gathering to help transition your child to the school that is best suited for your needs. We work with grade 1 all the way up to what we would call grade 12 plus. So we go up to 21 years old. The registration portal, as an example, is looks like this. And so when you come to our board, you would go to something like this and just work your way through the registration process, which is an online platform. So again, we do an assessment in math and in English. It can take up to 3.5 hours for a grade 11, grade 12 student. So you're looking at a day while your child is being assessed. We have our multicultural liaison officers and myself sitting with you, working on settlement and education questions, pathways, things like that. The community partner that we are connected with for our multicultural liaison officers is the Ottawa Immigrant Services Organization. And we try to pair up the family with the language that is their primary language with a language that is the MLO's primary language as well. So recommendation from the assessors, we sit down with the families, and if there's a choice of schools, if there is, looks like there might be a support in English that would be beneficial, we sit down with the family and we try to give the information as best as we can, both visually and verbally, and with the MLO's help with translation, so that the family can make the best decision that suits their family needs. And so it's a lot of information. And so we really take our time to help absorb that. The schools will repeat the information, but we do try to have them make the decision that works best for them right then and there at the FRC. So the Family Reception Center supports 145 elementary schools and 33 high schools, or 115 elementary schools and 33 high schools, so 145 schools in total. So that can be very overwhelming for a family coming into Ottawa, trying to figure out what school would best suit them. We have maps to try because your school is decided on the boundary based on your address. And we use something called a school locator, which is easily accessible on the OCDSB website. And you can click on school locator, put your address in, and based on the boundary of that school, the school, possible school can come up. So again, our amazing partners, OCSO, they are a community partner with the OCDSB. And they offer supports in housing, there's recreation, they have youth camps, English conversation. So if there's adults who are over 21 who wish to be learning some English, they help with that. Employment, they can access if you need a legal aid with their consultations. So they are a very good connector for our families to keep coming back. They are also in our schools. So that transition continues into the schools. Here you can see Hasib. Hasib is one of our amazing MLOs, and he's working with several families here. Hasib speaks 5 languages, and he's going through the process of some housing, just even how to dress for winter, food, things like that, and any other questions that they might have. And this, what you're seeing here, is our main office. And this is Fatima. She's another amazing MLO helping out with the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork for the families to be filled out, and we do all that to send it to the schools to help that. A question we get a lot is what grade does my child go into? So we go here in OCDSB in Ontario is by your date of birth, so the year. And so that's how that is decided. Some documents that are needed to bring to the FRC. Here's just an example. But when you go onto the registration online it will also go through this. If so proof of address, any kind of guardian or guardian or legal guardian papers, if lease, things like that. If the family happens to have report cards or a graduation summary, that would be great. If you happen to know if your child has special needs, special education requirements, then that is helpful as well. And then again, any documents pertaining to custody. Sometimes when you're on the registration online, it may direct you to something called Boundaries. Boundaries is also known as our admissions department. And oh, get out of that. And so they work with refugee, diplomat, work permit, and study permit. And you need a permit to attend. And they are amazing and friendly and very quick to get back to you to help support you and get your documents in order. So the Family Reception Center, we are located currently within the adult high school, located at 300 Rochester. And so there's lots of bus routes that go there. And we have lots of brochures that are out in the school. So even if you go to the school nearest you, they should have a brochure that looks like this. So you can try and help you find us. And also there's email and phone calls. So with that, just wondering if there's any questions or wonderings. And you can put them in the chat. And again, I just want to say thank you for taking the time tonight. And you have approximately 5 minutes before the next session begins, and the next session begins at 7:40. Thank you. Hi, welcome to the session, What and Who the Family Reception Center is. We're just going to give another minute to see if others join us. Thank you. All right. Welcome. Thank you very much for taking time tonight out of your schedule to join us to learn a little bit about high school. This session is about who and what the Family Reception Center is. And so not all school boards have a family reception center, but the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board does. And as you can see by the sign in the picture, it is welcoming families that are new to Canada, new to the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board, and even returning students whose language and instruction language was not primarily English. So just wondering, as we go forward here, if you don't mind in the chat, just writing maybe one or two sentences about who you are. So for example, whether you're a student, my supervisor, parent, relative, teacher, sponsor, and I can tweak my presentation to best support your inquiries. All right. So the Family Reception Center is a small staff. We do have around 2,000 students that will come in a year through the Family Reception Center. But we have an amazing small staff who work very well and hard together to try and answer all your unique questions. Every family is a very unique situation, and we understand that. We have amazing community partners, multicultural liaison officers, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. And then we have the assessment piece. And so there is an assessment in math and English. We work with grade 1 up to grade 12, up to grade 12 plus, so up to 21 years old. My role is guidance and student success. So my role is to sit down with the families and talk about pathways, any questions around how our education system works. It's a lot of information in one day. So we present the material in different ways. We have videos, we have visuals, and we give you time as well if needed to be able to think about some of your decisions. This is our office staff. They speak a couple of different languages, and they work very hard at working with you as a family through email and phone to help you get your papers together and get everything you need to be able to transition into the school. Who do we support? Well, we support permanent residents, diplomats, work and study visas. We support all newcomer families and Canadian citizens who may have been out of the country for more than a year and studying in something other than English. So you can see there's quite a range of people that we work with. And so what do? We help with that challenging process of getting paperwork getting everything, all the documents in order, and help transition you to the school, having a better understanding of what the OCDSB education system is about and what it is about in Ontario. And our MLOs can also help with settlement. The assessments are a recommendation, and they just help you as a family make decisions on which school would be best to support your child. This is the registration page that can be found at the OCDSB. It is an online registration. You can see there that they have some, if depending on your status in Canada, what you may need to do and what papers you may need to bring. So while you're there for the day at the Family Reception Center, there is the assessment. Again, a beginning conversation about how high school works, how the elementary system works. And the Ottawa Immigration Services Organization, also known as OCSO, will also sit down with you for quite a length of time to make sure that you are settled in. And they're also known as multicultural liaisons officers. They are in our schools as well. So the recommendation that comes from the assessors for English and math keeps all pathways open. And what I mean by pathways is that it keeps university, college, trades, workplace, everything open. Also helps explain the complexity of a lot of families are very concerned about high school and graduation. But please know that conversation continues with your first interaction in the school. It's just giving you an initial conversation, and so you can ask even better questions once you get to the school. So the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board has 33 high schools and 115 elementary schools. Based on the assessments, you might have what's called a homeschool, which is maybe closest to your house. But based on the English assessment, conversation and information will be provided on if there was a school that was able to support the English needs and still attaining all the other same school needs, clubs, sports, credits, subjects, all of that. But 6 of our high schools offer all of that all the other high schools offer, but they also offer ESL or English Language Development Programming. If you want to know more about that, there is another session going on tonight about ESL and ELD. And that is probably the biggest part of the FRC, is helping families understand their options, and so they can make an informed decision that best suits their needs. So there is an app on the board website called School Locator, and you can plug in your address and you can see which school, and we call it a homeschool, based on the boundary. So these maps show that schools have boundaries around them, and that is part of the decision on which school you may go for your child. So School Locator, that's the name of it. You can go on it. It's very transparent through the OCDSB website. So I want to talk a little bit about our amazing multicultural liaison officers through OCSO. They spend an incredible amount of time with settlement and questions around clothing, food. They offer additional help with some housing. They have youth camps in the summer. If adults wish to learn English, there's several options there. Assistance in housing, as I said, some job search, employment orientation support, as well as access on how to get free legal aid. So if you're looking to change your status in Canada while you're here. So this is one of our multicultural liaison officers, Hasib. He himself speaks 5 languages. He's working there in our main office, going through some of the things like housing, also how to dress for a Canadian winter, and he's answering their questions. This is another MLO, Fatima. You can see she's helping a father there with the paperwork to sort that out. It can be quite challenging, and that's another great support that the Family Reception Center offers. Question that we often get is, what grade will my child be in? And we do go by date of birth, so it's the year of birth, and then that bases on what grade. So that would base on whether you were elementary or high school, whether you were grade 9 or grade 11. That's how we do it. There are several documents. So if you go back to the slide I showed of our office staff, they will help you with that list of documents to bring on the day of the Family Reception Center. Proof of address, your status. Another department, if you're working with admissions, they will also help you, and you may need a permit to attend. And so if you go back to that online registration on our board website, if you need a permit to attend, it will direct you in that direction. The admissions department in the OCDSB is amazing. They are very quick, very friendly, and very helpful. Other documents that would help are things like report cards, if you know any medical conditions, if there's been an IEP, anything that can help build that information and story of your child on how we can best support. This is the admissions that I mentioned before. They're also known as boundaries. And so you may be working with them to get a letter, permit to attend. So nearing the end again, so the Family Reception Center is located inside the adult high school, which is at 300 Rochester Street. And there are brochures that look just like this at many of the schools. So even if you go to an OCDSB school near you, they should have these in their office. And it gives you the phone number, it gives you the email, it even gives information that I just presented today in a very concise format, but it gives a map on also where to find us. So with that, just wondering, you can post in the Q&A, or if you have any questions or wonderings. And we just got a couple of minutes. And so I just want to thank you again. Appreciate your time. And I hope you enjoy the other sessions. And have a good night. Hi, everybody. Welcome to what and who the Family Reception Center is. My name's Rose. We're just going to give it another minute or two, see if other people join in. Thank you. All right, so we'll get started. So, as I said, my name is Rose. I work at the Family Reception Center, and this presentation is about who and what is the Family Reception Center within the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. So if you look at that picture, I think it sums it up what we are. We're welcoming families new to Canada, new to the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board, and even returning students who have been more than a year outside of Canada. It is for families whose primary language is not English, and or their instruction was primarily not English. So if you don't mind in the chat, if you can just put one or two words on what your lens is, if you're a student, a parent, a relative, a sponsor, a teacher, anything like that, and then I can tweak my presentation with some of the wonderings you might have. All right. So thank you. So the FRC, we're a small staff, and we work very closely together to try and answer every family's unique situation. So we have a principal, we have an amazing office staff, Mal and Reem. We have many multicultural liaison officers, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And they are community partners. We have assessors, and they do the math and English assessments. They are not an exam. The assessors work very hard at building a relationship with the student, and they can ask questions and try and put them at ease. And then there's myself, Rose, and I have a guidance lens and a student success lens. So this picture is just showing, this is our two office staff. If you give the call to the Family Reception Center, you will get one of these amazing people. They speak a couple languages, and they work very hard at trying to answer all your questions and make sure you're supported and have all your documents before you come to the Family Reception Center. So who do we support? So as I said before, we're supporting families who are primary language is not English, or their instruction for their child was not in English. So those can be permanent residents, diplomats, visas, work visas. It can be Canadian citizens who have left and come back. So you can see that we work hard because all these situations are very unique, and the supports that you need and want are unique. So what do we do? So the Family Reception Center, when you come for the day, we will help register your child to the school. The documents that you bring will help sort all that out as well. The MLOs will help with any settlement questions that you might have. And we also help you walk away with an understanding of our education system and some opportunities and choices that you have. So it's a lot of information, and we do the best, we do a job of presenting it through video, visual, and sitting with you and giving you some time to reflect. The school that you go to will also continue the conversation, but it's always good to have this initial conversation so that you can ask even better questions to the school when you get there. we look at grade 1 to grade 12, including grade 12 plus. So those are students up to 21 years old. That's who we work with. So to register, there's an online platform. I'm just pulling it up here. So on the OCDSB website, and you can see it gives you some numbers, and it has a stop sign. So certain status, you will not fill out an online registration. You will work with the admissions department, and I'll talk about them in a little bit later. But that registration goes to the FRC, and that will help with the paperwork to the school. So when the assessors are done with the assessment with your child or children, they will sit down, and you will also have a chat with a guidance counselor such as myself on pathways. And we do our very best to give you all the information so you can make the best informed choice for your child. So that is explaining the Ontario education system. Our recommendation from the assessors keeps all pathways open. And when I talk about pathways, I mean it keeps the trades open, college open, university open, workplace open. It keeps all open. No pathways are closed because you're just entering into our system and you need time to sort some things out. It's a lot of information. So the other thing that the FRC helps with is that there's 145 schools in the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. We are the biggest board in Ottawa. And so that can be confusing and challenging to figure out which one you are to go to. And so we support there as well. There are 33 high schools in our system, and 6 of them offer everything that all the other high schools offer, but they also offer ESL, English as a Second Language, or ELD, English Language Development programs. And so part of the assessment, understanding how the education system works, we sit down with the family to present the information so that you can make the best informed choice as to which school would best suit your child's needs. So using the school locator is another way of finding out which school. So that is on the OCDSB website, and you punch in your address and it will give you what is called a home school. When you come to the FRC, if there's information that English as a second language or English language development would help your child get moved through the education system, then those other schools are also offered. OCSO is our multicultural liaison officers, are a needed and amazing community partner that work with us. They also work in the schools. So they help with settlement, housing, youth camps, computer courses. If adults in the family wish to learn English, if they wish to go to school, if they wish to earn their high school diploma, I work with the MLOs to get that information to the family. Assistance in housing, also legal aid. An example of that, if you're looking to change your status here in Canada, then they can get you connected to legal aid. So lots going on at the FRC in your time there. This is Hasib. Hasib is one of our multicultural liaison officers. This is and he's presenting to families. He speaks 5 languages. And he's going through different things like settlement, even things like how to dress for winter, where to find things, schooling, stuff like that. This is Fatima. She speaks many languages as well, and she's sitting, helping father there with sorting out some papers and documents and getting all those in order so that they so his kids can just transition into the school. And so lots going on at the FRC for support. It's a busy day. A question that we get a lot is, what grade would my child be? So we go according to the date of birth. And you can see here, so if you were born in 2017, you're grade 1. If you were born 2009 for this current school year, you would be a grade 9 student. And that is how we know, or how we place your child into which grade. Documents. So one of the things is, when you connect with the Family Reception Center, Amal or Reem will let you know what documents to bring. If you are connecting with the Admissions or Boundaries department within the OCDSB, they will also list what documents based on status sometimes that you will need to bring. These are some examples of the documents. Proof of address, proof of status. If you happen to have your vaccination records for your children. If not, we'll give you a link on where you can work with public health to get that sorted out. So again, another useful support from the Family Reception Center. Some other documents that we look for that are helpful are any kind of report cards, transcripts, any medical documents, whether there's an IEP, and any legal guardian letters to support the current family situation. All of those are helpful to bring. So I had mentioned the admissions department, and so they're also known as Boundaries. So when you go to the online registration, if it has the hand up that says stop and contact Boundaries, they're an amazing group of people who are very excellent at their job, very quick, and they will be very helpful to let you know what papers you need to submit in order to get a permit to attend. So again, the Family Reception Center is located within the adult high school at 300 Rochester Street. The brochure that you're seeing here, or the front page of it, all schools have these brochures. So even if you wander into the nearest OCDSB near you school, they will be able to hand you one of these brochures. It has our phone number, our email, and it has an explanation on the steps and process to help register your child. But once you are here at the Family Reception Center for the day, there is lots of support, and we work closely with you to help sort everything out so it's a smooth transition for you and your child into the OCDSB. So with that, just wondering if there's any wonderings or questions from anybody in the chat. You can post it in the Q&A or the chat. And I want to thank you again for taking the time to join us here tonight. And I hope you find this session and other sessions helpful for you to understand the OCDSB, and welcome to high school. Thanks again. Hi, everybody. We're just going to give another minute, see if other people trickle in. I hope your evening is going well. All right, we're going to get started here. So my name is Rose. I'm a guidance student success teacher at the Family Reception Center, and this information session is just on who and what is the Family Reception Center within the OCDSB. So if you look at the picture, it says the Family Reception Center welcoming families new to Canada, new to the OCDSB, or even returning students to Canada, whose language is primarily not English, and or whose instruction has in the schooling has primarily not been English. And so not all school boards have something like a family reception center, but the OCDSB has, and it's a very busy place. Um, and I'll introduce you. But before we go on, if you can just maybe put one or two words in the chat, just saying what your lens is. So, for example, if you're a student, a parent, a sponsor, a relative, teacher, um, community member, just curious, anybody, if you just put a word and I can tweak my presentation um, to suit you. Okay, thank you. So the Family Reception Center at the OCDSB is a small staff, and we work very closely with each other because every family comes with their own unique situation and questions and wonderings. And so we have a principal, we have our office staff, we have a community partnership with OCISO, with our multicultural liaison officers, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then we have our assessors. And biggest thing around the assessment, it's not an exam. Our assessors work very hard building a relationship with your child or children. They can ask questions and they really try to see where your child is at. And then there's myself. I provide a secondary lens on pathways and how high school works. So if you call or email the Family Reception Center, you'll meet Reem and Amal. They speak a couple of different languages and they work very hard. We will have 12 to 16 students come through the family reception every day, and they do all that scheduling and make sure families understand what they need to bring and what time and what it is all about. So who do we support? So besides not being a primarily English language, we're looking at permanent residents, diplomats, study work visas, private school students whose instruction was not English. So you can see that everybody has their own unique situation, and we do our very best to make sure that all your questions are answered. So with that information and documents, we help register your child into school and help provide you with a better understanding of our educational system. And we also provide you with information so that you can choose what a school that best meets your needs. And when I say that, you are still held within your boundary, but we can help you if there is deemed that a child can benefit from English as a second language or English language development programming. Then there would be other schools that would be on the table for a family to choose. So the online registration process is on the OCDSB website. And you can see there's phone numbers and you just follow the process. But again, if you are lost or confused, there's the Family Reception Center, and you can also, and we are listed on this page. So while you're at the Family Reception Center, there is an assessment. And then also a lot of information on how the OCDSB and high school and elementary schools work. That's also followed up by the school that your child is going to, so it's not the one and only conversation, but we like to think that by giving you the beginning of the conversation, then you can ask even better questions to the school when you meet with them for the first time. OCISO, also known as Ottawa Immigration Services, is a partnership that the OCDSB has. So they are not only just at the Family Reception Center, but they are also in our schools. So with the assessment, it's in English and in math. The assessors make a recommendation. And sometimes families may have more than one school to choose. And whatever the recommendation that the assessors have, all pathways are kept open. And when I say pathways, I mean that whatever your child wishes to do after high school, it is still, all the doors are kept open. So whether it's college, the trades, university, workplace, the recommendation is one that keeps all pathways open. This is a lot of information to absorb, and but again, it's repeated at the school. So the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board is one of 5 boards within the Ottawa region, and we are the biggest. And so the Family Reception Center supports 33 high schools and 115 elementary schools. 33 high schools, of which 6 offer ESL and or ELD programming. So 6 of the schools offer everything that all the other high schools offer, but they also offer extra English support. And that is where a family may need to make a decision. And we do our very best to provide all the information and answer all your questions so that you can make the best informed decision that suits your family needs. All schools will have a boundary, so it is based on your address, unless we are looking at English as a second language support, and then we may have to go outside of the boundary. There is an app on the OCDSB website called School Locator, and so if you are ever wondering what school is considered, it's called your home school, you can punch it into the School Locator, punch in your address, and it will let you know what home school is within your boundary. So OCISO is an amazing community partner that we work with, and they help with settlement. They also offer information around if the adults in the family wish to learn English, maybe they want to go back to high school as well, earn a high school diploma, computer classes. There's youth camps that OCISO offer in the summertime, housing help, job search, and even connection to legal aid. An example of what you would use legal aid for might be is if you wish to change your status that you have currently in Canada. This is a picture of Hasib. Hasib is one of our multicultural liaison officers, also known as MLOs. He happens to speak 5 languages, and you can see he's working with families here, giving them a general presentation, but he also works individually with each family. And does an amazing job with settlement. And he also works in many of our schools. I think he's giving a general, just even on how to dress properly for Canadian winter, if you've never experienced a winter with snow. Here's another MLO, Fatima. She's helping with the paperwork so that while his children are down having the assessment, she's taking the time, helping them fill out the paperwork and answering any questions around that. And then all that goes to the school. Question we often get is, what grade will my child be in? And we use the date of birth. So you can see on this chart here that if you were born in 2017, you're considered a grade 1. If you're born in 2009 for this current academic year, you would be a grade 9 student. Documents, there's many different documents, and so both the Family Reception Center staff will make sure that you know which documents to bring. If you are having to connect with admissions, also known as boundaries, they will also let you know through what documents they need if you need a permit to attend the OCDSB. But examples will be proof of your status in Canada, proof of address, and those kind of things. Other documents that are helpful are things like report cards, any medical challenges that your child might have, special education needs, any legal guardian documents, anything like that. Those are all helpful as well. So I mentioned the admissions department. They are amazing. They are very quick, very helpful. And so on that online registration, if you find yourself that you have to go talk to admissions or connect with admissions first to get a permit to attend, they are excellent at letting you know what you need to provide. So as we near the end here, so again, the Family Reception Center, we are located within the Adult High School building, which is at 300 Rochester Street. Even if you wander into an OCDSB school near you, all schools have a brochure about the Family Reception Center, and it has an email and a phone number to connect with us. So even if you're not even sure, or you know a family that isn't sure where to begin, you are more than welcome to give us a call, give us an email, and we will do our very best to get you started. And if need be, then we'll bring you into the Family Reception Center and provide all those supports that I mentioned in the presentation. And so with that, just wondering if there's any questions, wonderings about this session. And maybe while people are typing anything in, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to come to the sessions for Welcome to High School Night. I hope you found them helpful. And yeah, thanks for taking the time. So I think with that, we're nearing the end. I wish you all a very good evening and all the very best. Take care.